This is a brief discussion explaining about pseudocode. So pseudocode just purely means code written in English, pure, straight written English, in just pretty much dot points. So this is a very rough diagram of a sumobot. This here is the brick. We've got just here, we've got our ultrasonic sensor plugged into port 3, our light sensor plugged in at port 2, our motors plugged into B and C, as I've just explained there. So this is what I also expect you to have, either a picture or a diagram. You can do this diagram by insert and then drawing new, and that's what it is. So, but I've got nothing there. So I've just put that, just a brief explanation of what they're plugged into. So on our first test, what do we want to do? We want to test the direction of the motors, because depending on how you clip on the motors, a positive 10%, which just is 10, could be forward or could be back. So just here we have on start, we want motors to go for A and B at 10% for 2 rotations, and then we want it negative 2 rotations. So in Lego, what does that look like? We're going to go on start out of loops. We're going to go to motors. We're going to use tank motors. It has both B and C at, what do we say, 10%, wasn't it? So we're going to change this one here. You could slide that up, but I actually find it easier to do to write 10. Click in there, 10, tab 10. Now we press the plus and we do 2 rotations. Then all I'm going to do is I'm going to control copy, put that in there, and I'm just going to click in there, and I'll do negative 10, click in there again, and do negative 10 again. So what's that going to look like? On start, go forward 2 rotations, back to 2 rotations, and then the motor, then it's just going to stop. So I'm just going to put down here in the title, motor test. So that's it. That's what it looks like. Now, if we look down to our next one, we want to do ultrasonic test. This has some if statements. So this is makes it a little bit more challenging, and we want it to loop until we stop it. So we're just going to go back into here. I'm just going to get rid of that. Now I notice, so first thing we want to do, go back here. We are using an if statement and an else statement. So that is logic. So we're going to get here, if true, else do this. So again, logic comparison. Now then what sensor do we want to use? We want to use ultrasonic sensor. So we're going to drag an ultrasonic into there. So if ultrasonic, now we said back here, if it sees something less than 5 centimeters. So if it is less than 5, what do we want to do? So if ultrasonic that's plugged into port 3, we said our ultrasonic is plugged into, if we go to the top here, ultrasonic port 3. If it is plugged into port 3, what do we want it to do? We want it to get the tank motors, and we want to go negative 50 at 50% for 2 rotations. Else, what do we want to do? We want to go forward. So again, we're going to get motors, tank motors at positive 50%. And the last thing in our pseudocode, we said loop until stopped. So we're just going to go into loops. We're just going to get a forever loop and whack it around the top. Notice how it changed color then? So I'm going to just ultrasonic test. This is my ultrasonic test. So I'm testing. So let's talk this through. If ultrasonic plugged into port 3 sees a distance that is less than 5, then start motors at negative 50 for 2 rotations. Else, if that's not true, then we're going to start the motors. Now, so start the motors and go forward. I haven't said rotate how many rotations, I just want to go forward. So it's just what we're going to see is the robot go forward and back, forward and back, forward and back. Our third test is our light sensor. So we're going to keep exactly the same what we've done here, except we're going to take that out, and I'm going to just drop a light sensor in there. Color, and that's import 2. The color sensor sees a reflected light less than 30, 100 being maximum, 0 being blacked out, then that's what we're going to see. So again, this is going to go up to the black line and back for 2 rotations, up to the black line and back. So, and again, we'll change the name of it. So that is pseudocode of testing our sensors and our motors. Our next step from here would be then adding all these codes together to create a sumobot. There you have it.